Welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another Entitled Parents Reddit video. In our first story, the train is going to start moving. You can write your 1-star Yelp review later. Let's jump right in. Before I tell this story, I'd like to point out the fact that this situation occurred before the pandemic, so my memory of the event may not be as clear. I also apologize for any crappy wording or punctuation in this. I tried my best. About 2 years ago, in a scorching July summer break, I would volunteer at a local railway museum for a special event that took place on 2 weekends. The museum would attach these parts to old antique passenger cars that were themed after Thomas and Percy from the show Thomas and Friends. I think that's what it's called. I didn't watch the show when I was younger. This would attract swarms of toddlers and tired parents during these 4 days. Volunteers were typically needed to monitor the trains and do various other jobs during the event. On this particular day, I was assigned to do Thomas boarding. Thomas boarding consists of checking tickets to make sure they are the proper time and date and counting how many people get onto each car to ensure that there are enough seats for everyone. The other job is monitoring the exit to each passenger car to make sure that no one tried to slip onto a car without a ticket and mess up how many people we allowed onto each cart. Volunteers who watched the exit also had to ride the train and make sure no one pulled the emergency brakes in the cars, tried to pass through into another car, stuck their head and arms out of the passenger car, and give out stickers to the kids. The windows are like flipping guillotines on those passenger cars. I'm not kidding either. I decided I'd monitor the exit closest to the big guy the kids loved, Thomas. Why I chose this exit is because the boarding area closest to Thomas always got crowded and everyone would try to get into the train that way, and they'd oftentimes try to sit in the next car over, leaving a family having to stand up in that car as there'd be no seats left for them to sit in. Now, most people might not see the big deal with having to stand up, but these are passenger cars from around the 1920s. They're old, rickety, and will throw you around when the train comes to a halt. That is why families who wish to ride in the passenger car closest to Thomas had to split up and sit in remaining open seats. Volunteers were also told that if anyone had a problem to go talk to the man underneath a rather large umbrella. As I stepped onto the train as it was getting close to departure time, the entitled parent of our story approached me, her toddler in her arms and husband behind her. She didn't say a word as she stepped out of the front car exit and tried to push past me. I retaliated as fast as I could, putting my skinny arms out to block her from getting past me and to the next passenger car. I then said, "Miss, I cannot allow you to pass through." The entitled mother glared daggers at me and responded in a hostile tone. "There's no more seats and me and my husband can't sit together. Let us through." She then tried to push past me again, trying to force my arm down to pass through. It slightly hurt, but I refused to let this woman have the satisfaction of getting her way. I then, once again, told her that I cannot let her pass through. She huffed and turned to demand that her husband tell me to let them through. Her husband's cheeks were flushed red with embarrassment, and I couldn't help but feel a bit bad for him. "Honey, let's just go find a place to sit and leave the crew member alone," is what the husband said. Miss Entitled Mother did not like her husband's response and whipped her head around to face me once more. She then said in a stern voice, "I demand to speak to your manager." Me, being an immature kid at the time, decided they couldn't hold back their laughter anymore and burst out laughing when she said that infamous line. This caused the lady's face to turn a bright red as she opened her mouth to likely spew profanities at me. Luckily, my twin brother had noticed the commotion and had made his way over to me and the woman, coming to my aid. "If you're having a problem, ma'am, please talk to the man under the large umbrella," my brother said. The entitled parent looked like she wanted to argue, but her husband agreed with my brother and began to lead his wife off of the train to go speak to the man with the umbrella. As soon as I saw them get off, I heard Thomas give his signal to the back part of the train, which was where the real train was that actually moved the cars, that we needed to depart in a few minutes. Everything seems fine for the next few minutes until the entitled woman and her husband return. My brother decides to take things from here and asks the woman, "So, what did the man with the umbrella tell you?" to go find a place to sit in the car we initially boarded in, but I don't see what the big issue is, she replied, her tone still snippy. My brother explains to her why we cannot allow people to pass through into other cars, and this explanation just pisses the woman off even more. As I was about to open my mouth to add on to what my brother told her, the husband speaks up and says, "The train is going to start moving, so we need to go find a place to sit. You can write your 1-star Yelp review later." Me and my brother wait for them to be out of earshot before we both burst out laughing. That was the last I ever heard of them. Story number 2. I'm not going to risk my job because you want an obscene amount of cereal. I work at a supermarket, and one of our regular customers is a woman who comes in with her 2 kids and buys an absolutely obscene amount of cereal whenever it's on sale. Now, when I say an obscene amount, I don't mean 10 to 20 boxes at a time. No, she's not here for math word problem level amounts of cereal. She comes in and buys anywhere from 50 to 300 boxes at a time. Her and her kids usually come to the back room door with 3 shopping carts and ask for 9 to 15 cases of cereal, depending on how much we have left in stock. She's gotten denied service a few times, like the time she tried to buy an entire pallet of cereal, 5 boxes per transaction, the day before Thanksgiving. Management cut her off after 18 transactions, 90 boxes, because her order was holding up the lines for 3 of our 7 operational registers. 3 of our registers were broken at the time. The stock department manager absolutely despises this and has told the woman on multiple occasions that if she's going to purchase more than 3 cases of cereal, she has to call a few days before she comes in so he can order extra cereal. But she always refuses to, claiming that she won't know what she'll need until she comes in. This happened to me on a Sunday when I was the only person working in my department. I had just finished emptying the baler when Cereal Lady poked her head into my stockroom. "Hey, could you get me some cereal?" she asked. I scanned our sale pallets and she said, "It's on the 2nd level of the scaffolding." The scaffolding she was talking about is the same kind of scaffolding you would see at a wholesale club like Costco, Sam's Club, or BJ's Wholesale. So I told her, "Unfortunately, I can't get that down for you. I'm not authorized to use the equipment needed to get that down." She then asked, "Is there anyone on who can get that down for me?" And I responded, "Unfortunately, I'm the only one on at the moment. The full-timer who normally works alongside me on Sundays has the day off." She sighed and asked, "Could you just do it for me this one time?" "No, I'm not authorized to use the machine needed to get that down," I responded. She said, "Seriously? You can't just do this one time?" I told her, "No, I can't do this one time. I'm not allowed to use the machinery, nor do I know how to use it. If I get caught using that equipment, I won't only lose my job, but I could potentially face legal trouble and steep fines should I damage something or injure myself." She huffed and then went, "Fine, I'll just get the front-end manager. He'll do it for me." A few minutes later, the front-end manager walked into the storeroom with the woman in tow. "Hey, OP, are you authorized to use the power lift?" I responded, "Nope." "Is your full-time coworker here yet?" "He's off today and my brother already left for the day. My brother works in the same department as me and is authorized to use the power pallet jacks." The front-end manager turns to Cereal Lady and says, "I'm sorry, but that product is unavailable for today. There's no one who can get that down." Cereal Lady then shrieked, "You're a manager and you can't get that down for me?" The front-end manager responded with, "I wasn't trained on that equipment because this isn't my department and therefore I'm not allowed to operate it. You're going to have to come back tomorrow if you want that." Cereal Lady then stormed back to the cereal aisle without another word, and I haven't seen her since that day. Since then, my department manager has started storing the cereal pallets on the same side as the storage room door, so she can't poke her head in to demand 15 cases of cereal without calling a few days in advance. John from /bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to be the first to know when the next one drops, then subscribe and click on that notifications bell. I'd love for you to drop a like, share it with your friends. See you in the next one.